Hey listeners, it's Paul Andriola here. Why not join our community at Small Cap Discoveries, where we offer our members direct access to some of the best microcap investment opportunities available. Our members are getting access to premium microcap financings, research reports, and direct access to management. Sign up today at www.smallcapdiscoveries.com.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Today we have Cipher Pharmaceuticals CEO Craig Mull, who is going to give us an update on the business. It's August 12th today, 2025. Cipher Pharmaceuticals trades under the symbol CPH on the TSX. It's got roughly 25.4 million shares outstanding and closed today at just over $15, so roughly a $380 million market cap. Craig, thanks for joining us today. You just announced your financials, so we thought it'd be a great time to get you back and just give an update on the business. For those that are relatively new to the story, maybe before we start the update, just remind everybody what Cipher's all about.
Yeah, sure. So yes, we did have a very good quarter. But let me back up. For those that don't follow Cipher, I can give you a short, brief description of the business, and that's, we're a specialty pharma company that started and was founded in another company called CML Healthcare, and that was back in 2003. The pharmaceutical business, being Cipher, was spun out of CML into its own public entity as a result of the lab business being converted to an income trust. Since 2004, the company's been active in developing a number of drugs, which they were successful on getting 3 FDA approvals and Health Canada approvals. The company has been, since I rejoined the business in 2020, the company's gone through quite a number of changes, including becoming very lean, very profitable, company that generates a great deal of cash. Recently we made an acquisition about a year ago now of a US-based business that we're growing, and that's partly the reason why we're now producing record revenues and record earnings, as shown in our last quarter. So Cipher had a base business that was dermatology focused, products like Actikerall and Vanica, and our lead product, which is an acne product called Epuris in Canada and Absorica in the US. So we had a very good base business that was generating and is generating a great deal of cash. We acquired the other company, paid roughly $90 million US for the business. We've fully transitioned that business, and we've more than doubled our sales and more than doubled our EBITDA in the last 12 months as a result of that acquisition. Our main focus now is growing that US business, both from the market share for its lead product, Natroba, which is a product for head lice and scabies. We've got a relatively small share of the market at 23%, yet we believe that we have by far the best product in the market. And so the first order of business is to continue to grow that particular product sales. In addition to that, we're looking at adding some complementary products to the sales force. We have a sales force of over 40 people now in the US, and they're underutilized, and we believe that adding more products to their bag would help that utilization significantly. We intend to launch Natroba, which is the product for head lice and scabies in Canada. We've made the submission, and now we're going through the regulatory process to get approval. Because we own Natroba, we can also out-license the product in the rest of the world, and we're busy doing that now. We don't have any licensing agreements to report as of this date, but we're having a number of serious discussions with out-licensing partners in various parts of the world. So you'll see from that last quarterly report, that we're very profitable, which is unusual in the specialty pharma business. We generate over $2 million US, and these are all US numbers I'll give you. $2 million a month in cash flow. We've paid down our debt. We took on $45 million in debt to do the acquisition, plus we had $40 million on the balance sheet. So we've already paid the $45 million down to $18 million. And that was, we only took that debt out 12 months ago. So it shows you the type of cash the business generates. Again, we're very, very much business development focused, and particularly business development focused with products and acquisitions that would enhance our US platform. So that's some of the background. I don't know how much time I have here, but should we turn it over to questions?
Yeah, we can do that. I've got a couple questions, but before I jump in, reminder everybody that's listening, feel free to use the chat function, and we'll ask Craig the questions. So it's Natroba is the sort of the new product you've bought. Lots of cash flow you're generating, and you've done everything from share buybacks, obviously acquisition, pay down debt. And going forward, tell us where your head's at in terms of allocating that, the ongoing cash flow here. Is it more of the same, or are you looking at doing anything different?
Well, I just want to remind people or let them know that we do have a $65 million revolver with National Bank that we can draw upon at any time. So my feeling is, why carry debt, when we can access the money anytime we want anyway? So why not, if we don't have an imminent acquisition, pay down the debt, save the money on interest, and when that acquisition is ready, we can draw on the $65 million line from National. So we did that. We also have an NCIB running, and we bought the maximum amount of stock that we could in the previous quarter. And I think, we were able to get $2 million US worth of stock. So, we've been doing, a kind of a balanced approach of paying down debt and buying back equity. And I think that will continue. I expect that we'll be very close to net debt free by the end of the year.
Wow.
So I think at that point, we may look to do another SIB. Or the SIB that we did was very successful, and I think that was back in late 2023. I wish we had bought a lot more stock back.
You and me both. You and me both, yeah. Well, it sounds like this thing's really running on all cylinders right now. Is there anything you're not satisfied with, or is there anything that sort of keeps you up at night right now?
Well, I don't like the pace of our out licensing globally. I'd like it to be faster. I think the biggest issues that we're having at the moment is really two. What's the selling price in these other jurisdictions? Can we still get the type of price we're close to what we get in the US? And I think that's a bit of a struggle at this point in time. And then the little added complication of the US administration talking about this thing called most favored nation pricing. So I'm cautious a little bit about entering into a deal where the price would be lower than in the US right now. Until we get more visibility on where that may go or may not go. So that's probably my biggest issue at the moment. We're patient. We're not in any desperate need to do other deals. And we've typically been quite patient finding the right deal for Cipher. So although others may think that we're not very active or we're taking too long, well, I think you just have to be patient with me here, and we'll find another good deal as we would with Natroba.
Yeah, I don't think anybody can fault you for taking your time if you're going to keep pulling deals like this together. It looks like patience is certainly paid here. You talked about Natroba and licensing. What's the typical timeline, or what do you hope to see as far as timeline for some of these agreements out there?
Well, I think within the next 6 months, we'd like to have a couple of these out licensing deals under our belt.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's,
Gotcha.
and that's separate from our Health Canada submission. We've got the
Hmm.
infrastructure to do all that ourselves.
Hmm. Yeah, fair enough. And then the sort of the numbers or the growth we saw in this last quarter, how do you like, what's your expectation going forward? And we're not looking for guidance, but is this sustainable, this type of growth, you think? Or what?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would say that, the second quarter is a strong quarter for the US business in particular.
Mhm.
And I think the third quarter will be stronger than the second quarter for that business. But there is some seasonality to it.
Mhm.
The warmer weather
Right.
usually attracts head lice and scabies for that matter.
Right.
Whereas in, the December, there may be fewer cases.
Yeah. Understood. Understood. So another product that got a lot of excitement a while ago was the MOB 15.
Yeah.
Any updates there that you can talk about?
I am not optimistic about that product now.
Hmm.
And it's a real disappointment. I think that the results, the second set of results from the second phase 3 trial, you know, really hurt the product,
Hmm.
quite frankly. And
Hmm.
I think the design of the study was flawed. And I think Moberg really missed the mark on that whole thing. And you know, to bring that product to market against Jubilee, which has 90% of the market right now,
Hmm.
even though it's kind of a crappy product and
Hmm.
doesn't work very well, that we wouldn't have any competitive advantage, and that product is well established. And to make matters worse, in the not too distant future, I'm talking about, I believe, 12 to 18 months, Jubilee will be genericized,
Hmm.
and so that will bring the price down.
Yeah.
Now we're coming to market with a product that is inferior from a cure rate
Hmm.
and more expensive, and that's not going to work.
That's not a good equation. Yeah, exactly. I've got a couple questions here that we'll jump on right now. And got one from Curtis that says, will there be more states following the lead of Illinois for Natroba? What is the total revenue TAM potential of Illinois market and potential for other states?
Well, yeah, we're trying to replicate that. I call it a step through.
Hmm.
Basically, Natroba is the preferred product, and you
Hmm.
have to try that product first before you try anything else. So
Hmm.
that's an excellent, you know,
Hmm.
it really shows you the strength of the product. And
Sure.
we're busy trying to replicate that in other states.
Hmm.
I don't know the exact size of the Illinois market at the moment. I can certainly find that out.
Hmm.
Illinois is a relatively big state, including, in population size. So,
Sure.
um, we're targeting some other states that might be like-minded. And we're hoping that to get the same designation in other states as a result of the Illinois
Hmm.
approval.
Hmm. Now, earlier you mentioned, the new U.S. administration and most preferred status, I think you call it. Um, Obviously tariffs are a big word right now. Do you guys see any impact in regards to
Very,
tariffs?
very little,
Okay.
very, very
Okay.
little. We import, you know, one of the components of the product,
Mm.
which will have the tariff. I think that tariffs are already on it, but our gross margin is 82%. So, the cost of the product, the total cost of the product isn't very much.
Right.
And this is just one small component of that product. So
Mhm.
at this point in time, but like, I mean, every morning something new coming out of there. So,
True.
I
Yeah.
kind of just want to duck everything going on there. Certainly don't want to become too much in the spotlight.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Stay, keep your head down for
Yeah.
sure. Um, I mean, you've got a handful of initiatives that are ongoing right now. But personally, what are you the most excited about? What are you looking forward to the most, as far as some of the new stuff you're working on?
Well, like we've changed and made modifications to that infrastructure that we bought in the U.S.
Mhm.
And it's basically a sales organization. And we've been researching how people order the product, how physicians prescribe the product, and we believe and that this product probably lends itself to digital marketing more than other products.
Mhm.
And we've got a lot of initiatives in that area, digital marketing specifically. And I think that we'll be coming out with a new website within the next couple of months.
Mhm.
We want to work with telemedicine sites that a lot of patients, I believe, would. Sorry, guys, let me just see what's going on here.
Everything's good on our end here. Yeah. I'll give him a second.
I'm sorry about that.
No worries. No worries at all.
Yeah, I better not be buying any lottery tickets today. Stuff is happening that's not good. Anyway, yeah, so I think this digital approach
Yeah.
has legs. And if it does, our ability to get awareness out, because that's the biggest issue with the product,
Mhm.
people being aware of the product and how well it works. It's a once use and complete cure.
Wow.
None of the other products can say that. So, we're looking at different routes because having reps out there, they cost like over 200,000 US each. And having one product, I don't think that's the most effective way to do things,
Mhm.
particularly from a cost standpoint. So we're trying some of these different initiatives, mainly, kind of more direct to consumer, and the
Mhm.
consumer can be the patient, it can also be the prescriber.
Mhm.
And we need to be front of mind when a patient with head lice or scabies comes through the door.
Mhm.
And to do that, we need some way of being able to communicate to the doctor when he has this particular case in his office.
Mhm.
And to do that, we're working with the electronic medical records firms, so
Mhm.
that when a doctor puts in the code for scabies,
Right.
a banner comes up saying Natroba,
Right.
one use and complete, where enough so that it's top of mind for them.
Yeah.
So we're looking at different things. And I think most people can see there's a lot more advertising of drugs going on
For
than ever
sure.
before.
Yep.
And, I think that's, not just because of COVID. I think that's the new trend,
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
patients, aware of what's
Yeah.
available. And
Yeah.
these obesity drugs is a perfect example.
Yeah.
So I think that, we're moving in that direction,
Mhm.
and it will generate higher earnings as well.
Mhm.
So, I think it could have the effect of greater awareness, increase in sales with lower costs.
Mhm.
And, we're pursuing that now.
Yeah. Yeah. Certainly. I mean, this scale, the ability to sort of market at scale here, would be really interesting. Um, as far as the business, and how it's growing, do you see any bottlenecks anywhere? Is there any pinch points that are sort of slowing you down in any way?
Well, one of the big issues, and I'm going to speak really to the U.S. market here,
Mhm.
is getting, access to payers.
Mhm.
We've got
Mhm.
really good access to Medicaid. We've got not so good access to Medicare.
Mhm.
And in order to really get the growth going in the scabies section, we need better coverage in Medicare.
Mhm.
Medicare is kind of adults and older people.
Mhm.
And that's more of the scabies market, whereas the head lice is more, kids.
Kids, yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's covered by Medicaid better.
Okay.
So I think we need to do a much better job with getting access to payers. And I also think that we need to work with our wholesalers so that, that the product's in stock, almost always in stock.
Mm. Mhm.
Because if you're stocked out, you'll lose that sale.
You can't, exactly. You can't wait for some of the stuff. Yeah.
So, and we've looked at making other ways of making sure the product is there.
Yeah.
Like, by working with these telemedicine groups, they can prescribe. And if they prescribe, then we've got the script, we can deliver the product to the home. And we don't need to go through a big distribution network.
Right. Yeah.
So there's some interesting things going on. It's definitely an interesting business.
Mhm.
I'd say number one priority is increase the sales in Natroba. It's the best return that we would ever have. We already have the product, get more volume going.
Yeah.
Secondly, add some products that are complementary to
Mhm.
the US platform. Get Health Canada approval,
Yeah.
which, is something that I see no difficulties with.
Mhm.
And then find out licensing partners throughout the rest of the world.
Mhm.
And that's really the four main prongs
Yeah.
of that growth strategy.
Yeah. Craig, what kind of margins do you get on a product like Natroba?
Well, I mentioned earlier, our overall gross margin runs at about 80, I think it's
Yeah.
82 or 84%.
Wow. Wow.
Our EBITDA margin is higher than 50%.
That's incredible. Wow. Wow.
And I just wanted to let, the other participants know that as a result of some previous acquisition by previous Cipher management, the company has acquired a substantial amount of tax losses.
Mhm.
So we're not, we don't pay tax now,
Yeah.
and I don't think we'll be paying tax for some time. So
Right.
when I say EBITDA margins, that's kind of our
It's cash. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And as investors watching the business right now, where do you think the most important sort of focus should be? Like, is it continuing to just watch the numbers, or is there something else that we should pay attention to as a bit of a lead?
No, I mean, we just gotta stay working hard on this. I
Yeah.
don't see any event. I expect that we will make some acquisitions in the not too distant future.
Mhm.
They may all fall off the table
Mhm.
when I end the call, but we've got a pipeline of opportunities that we're working on. And I got to tell you that the vast majority we discard.
Mhm.
So, takes time. A bad acquisitions takes a lot more time.
Mhm.
So, and the company, they historically had made some missteps. I don't want to repeat that,
Mhm.
before I came back into the business.
Mhm.
So,
Well, with hindsight, where do deals usually fall apart? What usually goes wrong?
the seller usually thinks, that the product is better in some way, like, it's got a better growth trajectory.
Yeah.
Um, but that can all be translated in that they want too much money,
Right. Yeah.
in some way or another.
Usually price is
Yeah,
the issue. Yeah.
yeah. That kind of the easy thing to look at. Everybody wants to put lipstick on there, on what they're selling. Um,
Yeah.
we'll be patient. It's nice to know that, you know, based on a lot of deals that we discarded,
Yeah.
it was a good thing to discard them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in hindsight, thankfully, I'm going to touch some wood here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of times the best decisions are the ones you
Don't
don't make, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't do. I hear you. Um, Listen, I mean, I hate to say it's simple business because it's not, but you guys
It is though. It is
okay.
compared to some of
Yeah.
these other pharma companies.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if we were in the obesity space right now, that's pretty complicated.
And pretty topical and probably pretty
Yeah.
pricey too. But is there like I said, I don't want to simplify it too much. I mean, you guys are just executing flawlessly right now. But is there anything the market's missing, or is there anything that you think that is there any key sort of message you want to make sure everybody walks away with?
So, I started off trying to, and I probably didn't do a great job of describing the business, but, we basically have two.
Oh, you muted yourself. Yeah.
Maybe that's a good
There we
thing.
go.
That, we basically have two businesses. We have the historical Cipher legacy business.
Mhm.
That is a very stable, cash generating business. The Canadian part of that is growing, led by our acne drug that continues to be the market leader and grow its share. And I expect that share is going to continue to grow. It's, by far the most used product by dermatologists and physicians in Canada, called Epuris. And so I think that legacy business, even though the U.S. royalty business is, stable at best, maybe with a slight decline, overall, it is a low growth, very, very profitable business. Our focus is on growing that U.S. business. And I think it's got lots of legs, even with what we have today, with 20, I think it's 23 or 24% market share of the anti-parasitic market. Natroba's got a long way to go. So that's a key focus. And then we've got the ability to do acquisitions, got the $65 million revolver. We could do small base hit acquisitions, or we have the capacity to do something more significant, depending on what comes along.
Craig, is there an end game here? Like, how do you see the company in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, what I'd like to do is double the size of the business from where it is now, and that growth would be, I expect will be a U.S. kind of based acquisition.
Yeah.
Either products or of a company. So I'd like to see the sales double and the earnings double, and then I'd like to move to get a NASDAQ listing.
Okay. Yeah, that was going to be a question. Yeah.
And that's the path, and I would hope that would happen, in the next 3 years, maybe less.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, listen, thank you so much, Craig. I think this has been very helpful, very useful, and appreciate the time you've given us. We have been speaking with CEO Craig Mull of Cipher Pharmaceuticals, symbol CPH on the TSX. Craig, one last time, thank you so much for joining us today. And we look forward
Paul,
to the
thanks
next
for
time.
having me. Appreciate it.
You got it.
Anytime.
You got it. And congratulations. I mean, just a great job in creating value for a lot of shareholders. So thank you for that.
Well, I expect that we'll have another good quarter, and we've got lots of work to do. So I appreciate your interest.
You bet. You bet. Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Until next time. Thank you. Bye for
Bye-bye.
now.